YouTube. It's been a while. It's good to see you all again. The purpose of this video is just to one, catch up, and predominantly it's actually just to show you, as some of you may know from more my Instagram than the YouTube account, I've been pressing a lot of tobacco lately, and this is just to show you where I'm at with that. I've been doing a few. Probably the easiest way to do that is if I actually I'm just going to run some video, just how I got to it, and we can come back here. And meanwhile, I've got some here. I'm going to show you later. This is a restored Macmillan tobacco cutter here. I'm going to cut up a few flakes, and so while you go away, we'll look at that, come back, and we'll catch up and see where I'm at here. So we'll see you soon, guys. Hey YouTube, Gluefist here. Today I'm going to be just showing you pressing my tobacco. I've had a couple of goes at this in various forms. This is the latest one. I started off doing PVC, which I made some lovely flake tobacco, and I thought I was getting smart by, I haven't got it here to show you, but I had a normal piece of PVC with actually a screw-on cap, hoping to unscrew, let the tobacco plug, pop out, screw it and use it again. Of course, didn't realise how much I'm using up to a lot of pounds of pressure, and it just forced the thing on. In the end, I basically, long story short, had to cut the PVC. I've done a couple of them, and both of them I've had to end up cutting the PVC tubing, so I've now gone with a bit of a galvanised steel here. I've got 100 by 100, but this one here is, I think it's about 60 by 40, something like that. Mils. So I thought that's going to be quite a nice size actually for ease of cutting and stuff like that. So this is what I'm going with. I was thinking about cutting off, marked up here to do it. I haven't done it yet. Was to mark off cut these off and use those as the top and bottom. But I'm going to have a go today. I'm going to use, this is going to be the bottom. Just have an old fry pan here, some paper. I'm going to line that, sit it on there, load it up, and I've made a nice wooden thing here. It's a very snug fit. It's going to fit through there and press, and hopefully I'm going to get this out okay, and it's going to hold. I have had to go with the PVC pipe like this semi-successfully. The only issue was the press that I'll be showing you soon released some of its tension, and it spilled out under the bottom, so I just need to keep an eye on that. It doesn't need to stay in the press for weeks on end. This one, I mean, I think a night or two on this one's going to be fine. But anyway, so that's what I'm up to here. So anyway, I'm going to crack on with it. If you can hear that, it's not brittle dry, but it's certainly not wet. I've made another one here. I think I've just one moment, I'll show you. This is the last one that I've done, and it's quite moist to the point I'm scared to cellar this away at the moment for fear of mould. And when I say moist, I've been sprayed this with, this is actually the same tobacco. You can see the colour difference quite a lot. With a honey, I think I did honey and bourbon, or honey and whiskey and water solution that I just slightly sprayed, but sprayed too much where this got too moist, and I had to sit it out here for a day or two, drying out again. Pressed it, but still, I think, too moist. Anyway, today I'm going to be doing this one here. I have only the lightest misting of, I used, or the same solution as honey, water, and whiskey. Of a solution, I don't know, in a bottle this big. I think I stuck in a couple of teaspoons of each of honey and whiskey. But I wanted to keep it reasonably moist, because I've got a feeling this is going to, once under the amount of pressure that I'm going to put this through, it's going to bind together fine. And I wanted the whole leaf because I'm after flake, obviously. So we'll just start loading this up. I'll probably fast forward this part for you because you don't want to, no particular order. Yeah, it's going to be quite, I see. I can already see an issue here. Being the size that it is, it's already going to be a lot harder to put in. few of the choicer leaves here and we'll see what happens. I could have a couple of goes doing this, and I don't want to go into flavouring. I just don't want it to. The idea of the sugar or honey was I believe that it's antifungal or antibacterial. So that was the only reason I used that. Otherwise, I'd just do a straight Virginia. Well, this is a straight Virginia. It's got a very light casing in there. The only reason the casing was, one, it was sort of for mould reasons, and two, being just something to bind it together. And in time, I will have a go with just straight leaf and see how it goes. Just keep on pushing these in here, and we'll just try to keep it as even as possible. I mean, it's not going to matter too much because, as I say, the sheer pressure I'm going to be using here is going to even that out, no problem at all. You can't see what I'm doing here, but just filling this container up, trying to keep the leaves as nice as I can. Once again, I don't think it's going to matter too much by the time this goes through its pressing. You're not even going to see any of that. Just trying to keep it balanced as much as possible. These actually feel really good. These are some of probably the better leaves I've had off my plant. As far as the curing of them, the ripeness, you know, mature leaf, the colouring and the drying is just bang on. I've been loosely thinking of an idea of some of these bigger leaves, some of the big ones I got, especially last year's Virginia. I had to go, I don't know if you remember, and made a couple of ropes or pigtails out of them, you know, just like this, and just bigger leaves obviously, and just rolled them all up. And I'm looking forward to smoking that, or maybe just a cigar cutter, slice off a little wee curly cut coin or have you. Just trying to work out how much I want of that. I don't want it to be a bloody too big a plug, but I don't want too small one either, so this is going to take a lot more than I realised. I thought this was all going to go in here, but there's no way I'm going to put this much in. I think I'll start with one, and even if it's a thin one. I don't want to waste too much either if it doesn't work, but quietly confident this one's going to be the go. The only thing I have to keep an eye on is the bottle jack that I use, that you'll see, is it released twice on me. I've used it twice, and both times it's released overnight. The first time it was okay because it was contained with a screw-on cap. The second time I used a system similar to this one here, and as soon as it eased off the pressure, the weight came up off this, and it just spilt out under the bottom, and it was not a disaster, but it was a lot of wastage, a lot of loose sort of cut on the head. Now we look in there. I think we'll just fill this to the top. One thing I did want to do, which I'll explain, and I will do it, is I want to keep some marks on this. I've noticed in the past from experience that when you're pressing it down, it's good to know, if you have it marked here, you can see how big the flake is when it's pressed. And that's just a little wee hint that I've just, from trial and error, which I'll definitely be doing this time around. Absolute miserable weather we're having here in New Zealand. Actually, we've got a storm coming through. Just had one last week or 2 weeks ago, flooded half the country, and now we've got another really big one. I can't remember what the name of it is. Why they give them these stupid names is beyond me, but anyway, that's coming through, and it's going to be hitting here in the next 24 hours. I think we'll be okay here. It's just going to get extremely stormy and wet, but I think it should have eased some by the time it hits us. There's definitely enough moisture in that leaf. I think that's all I'm going to go with. So it's about usually full as that, and I'll press it all the way down to here. Okay, everybody, that's it for so far. I'm going to head out to the shed. I'll take you with me, and we'll get this sucker in the press. Okay, well, here I am again. We're out in the garage here. Here's my bottle jack press. This is a 12-ton press. I've got it set up here ready to go. I've just pushed it down. You're not going to be able to see from there. I've pushed it down about this much already, just by hand, to get it into the jack. So it's not far off where we want it to go anyway, but just crank it down there until you get to the desired. And that's pretty good there. Okay, so basically I just need to keep an eye on this because last time, as I said, this is released or whatever, but it feels pretty good in there at the moment. Just, you know, I'm happy with that, so I'll just come back and check that tonight, make sure it's all good. Other than that, that's it. As you can see, this system here, it's a brilliant thing. It's the only thing is I'd like maybe more holes to get or to get these adjustments right. That was a little bit tricky getting in. Because you actually see the springs here are slack, but to take it down to the next level here, it's too far, and you're going to have a really extended jack. So I'm happy with that, and that's pressed down probably at this stage. Probably it's hard to say. It's what we had in there. We had about this much tobacco, and I'm guessing it's pressed already down to about this, maybe the thickness of my thumb. So we'll come back to that in a couple of days' time. I'll look at this again tonight, make sure the pressure's still on. And then maybe the following day or the day after I'll pull it out. No need to stick it in there for days and weeks on end. It's pointless as far as I'm concerned. Well, I'll keep you posted. So hang loose, everyone. Okay, everybody. Here it is. Just took this out this morning. This was in the press, I believe. I lost track, but I think it was about 4 days, which is plenty enough. So you can still see the paper on there. But I'll peel this off and trim it up a wee bit. You can see where it's just escaped a little bit at the edge there. But for the most part, this is bang on what I'm after. So I'll get a knife and I'll trim this up here. And we'll just have a look, see what we're looking at. Yeah, fantastic. Where are we? I'm a bit upside down here, so see it nicely layered there. This one's much better than the last one I did because of the lack of moisture in it. And that is as solid as you'd ever want anything to be. So I'll just continue trimming these up, and I can actually sample these as a smoke. It's actually quite a nice size container I've got it in there. You know, see if I can focus on this a bit for you. That's what it looks like. And that's actually quite a nice wee size, as you can see in there in my hand. Nice to work with, nice size to cut some flakes off, and it's just lovely. Oh, it smells delicious. I'm looking forward to smoking some of that. That's a nice solid little flake. Look at that. Beautiful. Really happy with that. And so I'll pull some of this apart. Pretty hard to get apart. These aren't as nice as these ones in here are going to be. Obviously being the outside, but you can get a good idea of how that's going to be. That's quite thick. I can cut it thinner than that. That was just the. So anyway, that's it. That was the whole process. So this is my 2016, or yeah, this was 2016 Virginias. This was the better leaves that I had, grown from seed all the way to a mature plant, and curing it, aging it. It's only got a year on it. I've already had a wee smoke of this. It's just delicious, and in a few years, up to probably 5 years, I'll be growing this every year, but probably start smoking it seriously in about 5 years time. 1 year on it was just great. It wasn't great at the year I grew it, not brilliant straight out of the ground. It does need some age, but give it a go. It's great fun. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, hang loose. Well, hope you enjoyed that so far, and I'll show you some of the plugs I've had going on here. I've got quite a few here. A couple of them, strangely, I won't get into that. I named them Baboo's Fudge. or fudge slice. It's a bit of an ongoing joke with me and my partner here. This one here, these all of them except this last one here. I'll show you. This one here is they're all last season's Virginia. This one here is actually a mix of last season's Virginia with this season's Shirey Virginia, which is a darker, slightly more full-bodied one. But you can see in here, I mean, I'll just let that focus. Last time, I know in those videos you've just been watching, I didn't give it time to focus, or I was just too close. But these turned out just fantastic. This was the, I'm trying to think if I showed it in the video you just seen. I think I did, yes. It was actually a round one, a lot more moist. It's actually very, very nice. See if I can get a bit of a... Okay. You can see that's the colour, that's very dark. This one has a lot of moisture. And this is the first one I did. It absolutely smells beautiful, but I've got to watch. I mean, you can even see on just there, a slight bit of moulding happened on this one here. But this is a tasty smoke. These two here, I believe, I'm trying to think of the video, I've got them all mixed up, but I really like the size I've got them on here. You know, that's some lovely looking tobacco there. Here's another one. This is even slightly bigger. This one here is not quite as moist as those first ones. All very nice. More of the same. This one here. This one's I've done. It's just straight Virginia. It's probably the most tobacco I've pressed, and without the aid of any moisture whatsoever. It hasn't. Just even now, it's very unusual. It's just this one's a little bit strange. It's just perhaps that one needs to be pressed harder. You know, I can't barely get that apart, but it's just, I know I can feel that. You can see that I could probably stick that back in the press down again, but that's had no moisture, and perhaps that's the key. It does need maybe a little bit. Where was that one? So that's May. Harvest May last year. And then the last one I've got here is this is the mix one. I was just telling you about. This could be the one actually off the video you guys seen, just watched. But also happy with the moisture level I've got going on here. And so I can actually put that away. I don't have to slice up into flakes. I can actually, I'm going to store it just like that, and it's just going to be no problem with it. Mould. And if you've ever tried growing your own, whatever, that is the killer, is getting the humidity and your moisture levels is the biggest thing to stop that mould happening. I can't remember which one I got those in there. That's it. So I mean, look at that. Give it a go, guys. It's really, I think half the stuff you read make it more complex than it needs to be. The thing is just about grow themselves. The only problem that people run into is the fermentation process, and people are building kilns and all sorts of stuff like that. If you're a patient person, I believe that you could probably skip all that side and just, for me, I use a plastic bag. I used to do that, put it in jars and stick it into low ovens, keep it in heat, dashboards of cars, and get, you know, and it is, don't get me wrong, it is important, but all it is speeding up the natural thing that's going to happen anyway, which I think is just age. So for me, I've got it in plastic bags. I store it here once it's hung, coloured and aged. I put it in the hot water cylinder in plastic bags. I tie the top loosely overnight. Gets heat into it during the day, open it up, leave it loosely open, and then at night close it up again. Next day loosely open, and I'm just feeling it and keep an eye on it. And eventually I will actually strip the stems from it, perhaps earlier than some other people. You know, like some people actually age it with it in, but for me, in my experience, it's the stems that's your killer. It's the stems where it's gaining that extra moisture that comes through and causes the fungal moisture, mould and so forth. And once it's in there, there's sort of, you basically have to throw it out. There's no point trying to keep it. I've got one there, I've kept it, but it tends to intensify in time in the jar, and it just comes through and it's a bit smelly and awful. It's like an old compost, and so it's no good. So anyway, I'm going to flip you around here, and I'm going to show you what I've cut up here while you're away. So I've just sliced here. Now I don't think the light's going to be the best here. Let's see if I can get you over here a little bit better. See if okay. Let's see if this is any better. Just to do this justice, I'm going to take you outside. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I don't know if you could see any of that. I couldn't see shit. Hopefully you've got a shot of it there that does that justice. Super happy with it. I've got some rubbed out here, and I'm going to make my little Stanwell. As I say, by all means, if you've been contemplating giving this a go, you've got nothing to lose. I don't advise, you don't have to spend money on fertilisers or anything like that. I grow mine in, some I grow in buckets, 20 litre buckets, and some I grow in the ground, and just keep the water up to it. In the buckets I did spend some money on, I know them as jelly crystals or water crystals, just for watering issues, and whenever you're growing in pots for that same reason. Other than that, the only fertiliser that I personally used was, I think I might have had some sheep pellets that I got off the farm for me, but I know you can purchase them. That there, and I have a worm farm here, and if you've ever done that, it's costs nothing, and you get the worm tea, the juice off it is magic. But at the end of the day, stick them in the ground. They grow like a goddamn weed. Just as I say, there's so much information on the growing of them. I think it puts so many people off. So anyway, I'm loaded up here. I love this little pipe. This is purely used for flakes, and I don't really dedicate it to any particular blend, just a style, which I'm, Virginia's, and this one is my flakes. Yep. Happy smokes indeed, fellas. Even retro hell stuff, it is good. Do yourself a favour and grow some, guys. It's you don't have to be pressed into flakes or cakes either, and you can just rub it out. You can roll it up. I mean, I think I told you I did a few. I haven't got it here to show you actually. It's been ages. I must get out and try it. There's little pigtails. I just rolled into like cigars. Roll and roll and roll, nice and tight. Twisted it up. Tied it into wee pigtails. Stuck it in one of these little mason jars here for aging, and that's going to be great. Looking forward to using that. Well, anyway, I'm not going to keep you any longer than that. Sometimes I wander off track a little bit, which is easily done, but I'm going to enjoy the rest of this bowl. It's absolutely fantastic. Really super happy with it. It surpassed all my expectations of what I thought homegrown tobacco would be or could be. It's a work in progress, something I really enjoy doing, and like playing around with different techniques and flavourings and how preparations and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to leave you there with that. And I don't know when I'll be back for another video. I don't have any tobaccos to review at the moment. As far as this one here, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. Of course. Can't beat Homegrown. Anyway, YouTube, great seeing you again. And as always, hang loose.
Do your thing. Do your thing. Always someone to put you down. Always someone to drag you out. Stuffing your head with lies.